Great day, everyone. Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of LEADJITSU Rise in a Dojo. I am your host, Sensei Rhonda, and I'm super excited to be here with all of you as we dive into our conversation today. It's going to be a good one that you don't want to miss, and there is definitely something that you will find of value in this conversation for you. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's prepare to rise. All right. Hello, hello, everyone. Great day to all of you. We are super excited to be here for another episode of Lead Jitsu Rise in the Dojo. And on today's show, we're going to dive into talking more about movement. The importance of movement, how it connects to you as a leader, as an individual, your performance, your life, your joy, your happiness. We're going to dive into all of that. Before we get started, I'm going to say good morning to my co-host, Marae. Hi, Marae. How are you? Or good evening to you.
Yes, it's evening time here. Good morning on the other side of the world. I'm doing fantastic.
Fantastic, fantastic. Great to see you. And I am really excited today because we have someone really special with us. And I met Lavinia Errico at an event I was at, and she immediately captured me. Not so much for what she's done, which is amazing in its own right, but really for who she is and how she shows up in the world and her message. It resonated so strongly with me. And I immediately said, I've got to get her on the show, got to get her on the show. So I'm really excited to have her here. So Lavinia is one of the original co-founders of Equinox. And if you all are familiar here in the States, at least, Marae, Equinox Studios, fitness studios, it's really an innovative way to show up and engage in your exercise and your movement and really sort of this transformative aspect of our lives. Lavinia has gone on to launch something new and amazing, which she's going to tell us a little bit more about today. It's called Move Joy. And it's really a powerful way. I keep thinking of it, and Lavinia can tell me if I'm wrong, but I keep thinking of it as a way for busy people, busy leaders, people who are on the go to still get in touch with their health, their well being, who they are, and do that whether you've got 5 minutes or 30 minutes. So I'm super excited to have you here with us today. Lavinia, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah, really exciting. So before we get started, I was listening as I was preparing to this. I was just learning a little bit about you. Movement has been a part of your life. Can you just share with us one truth for you that makes movement such an important part of what we should be doing every day in our lives?
Well, first of all, for me, as you said, like movement has always been my medicine. But it hasn't just been my medicine, it's been my artistry. Like I started dancing at a very young age. It's been my identity. It's been, I was just one of those children who that's how I found how to even think, how to process was through movement. I'm sure today, if I was a young student, you know, the teacher would say to my mom, "This girl has HDHD or something," because I was just always a person that moved, Luckily enough, they didn't have that. They didn't identify that disease in those days because they probably would have medicated me, and maybe I would have never done what I did to be go on to be a dancer. And so instead, my mom saw this child is just always moving. So let's find her something that she can do, that she can move her body the way she does. So yeah, I just see that. I know personally, if I don't move, I never feel as alive and vibrant and grounded and clear, And I think not I think, I know as we get older, when we are in that third part of life, all the research is showing that for longevity, we have to move our bodies every day.
Mhm.
I mean, that if you do not move over the age of 50 every day, you're actually shortening your life.
Wow.
So there's just
Wow.
so many layers to why we have to move. That's why it's important, I say, to know who you are and know, like, for instance, if you're a turtle, you can't try to train or work out or move like a lion. And that's why I see people, they don't stay consistent, and they end up, stop training or working out because they didn't find something that's really right for them.
Mhm.
So it's really important to find something that, even if you're a turtle, that you like to do. That's why I created Move Joy. But even
Mhm.
before Move Joy, even at Equinox, when we did it, we always tried to have a variety of classes. And we really tried to get the information from our members to find out, who are you? What do you really like to do? How does your body naturally move? And then try to build from there. Because again, when you're trying to take someone and have them train with hit training and all this other training, and their bodies just, it takes time to get there. It could take years
Mhm.
to get
Right.
someone there.
Absolutely. No, it's really true. You really, I think that some of what holds us back is because we don't find what works for us. So before we continue to dive in, I want to say just good morning to a couple of folks out there. Mom is out there. Good morning. All set for the dojo today. They're with a chocolate banana smoothie. That's awesome. And then Raven's out there. She says, good morning. Gwen is out there as well. Hey, Gwen, good morning. Stay tuned. This is going to be a good one. So, before the next thing we do, Lavinia, is as we enter the dojo, we take some deep breaths. And we know that breathing centers us. And is there any specific breathing techniques that you'd like for us to do? Just a couple short ones?
Well, there's a breath that I do, which is a little different than what everybody else does, but I would love to do this. And
Okay.
we put our hands over our head. We
Okay.
open our hands really wide, and we open those fingers, because these webs in here hold a lot of tension. We actually hold in the webs of our feet and our hands, we actually hold a lot of fear and worry.
Hmm.
So you really want to, so we're going to go over the head and then open and close. So, and I like to do this with our mouth. So the breathe in, ha, in, ha. Let's do a couple more of these.
Okay.
Ha, 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 ha. Deep breath in. Ha, 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 ha. Open the hands. Ha, ha. Then take a deep breath in. And then hold your breath for 10 seconds as you bring your arms down. Exhale slowly through the mouth. Then hold your breath out. Hold your breath and come back.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. We love starting the show because we know how important our breath is for us. I share a little fun fact about breathing at the beginning of every show. And today's fun fact about breathing is the fact that deep breathing, regular deep breathing, can help improve your gastrointestinal function by really getting your air going, increasing your oxygen, and it helps to increase abdominal movement, and that helps with irritable bowel syndrome and other digestive disorders. So, just one more reason why we should be moving, moving, moving. So, let's get ready. Now that we've done our breathing, we've said good morning to everyone. We're ready to step into the dojo and we're going to dive into this conversation. All right. So Gwen said that was energizing. So Gwen, we are just getting started. You just wait. I attended one of Lavinia's Move Joy sessions, and I think I could only be there because I had a meeting coming up and I'm like, oh my goodness, but I want to see what it's like. I think I did it for like 10 minutes. I was energized, I was refreshed, and I love it. So I can't wait till we get to that part of the conversation. But Lavinia, first start because you tend to be very innovative and creative in the things that you do. Tell us about how you came to co found Equinox, and then we'll sort of see the trend that shows up in you as you move us into Move Joy.
Sure. So, first of all, I always feel like everything in my life, no matter what it is, um, what I've created comes kind of out of a need, and with Equinox, my two brothers and I, we were all living in the same building in Manhattan, 69th and Broadway. And I had just moved back from California. And in California, I had taught different different places aerobics, and at the time, I would say California, LA was like here with
Mm-hmm.
with fitness, and New York was here. So I get back to New York, and I'm like, wow, this felt antiquated here. Um, and where we lived, there really wasn't a full gym. So we complained for a while. It was like, oh, somebody needs to open up a gym on the Upper West Side, and somebody needs to open a gym on the Upper West Side. And we just kind of like complained, and we would be running all over. We go to different studios and then go to different places to do weights, and you really had to make it happen. It wasn't very convenient at all at the time. So finally, we kind of all looked at each other, and it was like, well, maybe we should do it. Anyway, so it was really like that. It wasn't like some big like, oh my God, we're gonna create a business plan and the brand. Like we just kind of jumped in there, and then an opportunity fell in our lap, really, to open up something outside of Manhattan, about 15 miles outside of Manhattan, and we took that opportunity kind of like as a proof of concept,
Mm-hmm.
just to kind of see. It was already an existing gym that went out of business. And so we went in there, kind of got our feet wet for about a year and a half, got to kind of understand the business a little bit. And then, yeah, then we opened up the first Equinox, and it was actually very small. It was only 7,000 square feet. And we were, yeah, because it was so small, we only needed a certain amount of members to be profitable. And because we lived on the Upper West Side and we were complaining about somebody needed to open a gym, well, thousands of other people were complaining about the same thing. So, you know how they say location, location, location. So we opened up our first gym, and we opened up, I think, with close to 1,000 members,
Wow.
which at that time was huge because, I mean, today I'm sure Equinox opens up with, a couple thousand members, but at that time it was a lot because it had no name. Like nobody knew who we were. We were just making promises. Like I remember our first slogan was like the most progressive fitness club in New York. And it was like we weren't even open yet. We were just declaring it, It was like, so, yeah. And really, I know it sounds simple because, and everything wasn't so simple about it, but when I look back now, it, it was somewhat simple, and also
Mhm.
because we were so passionate. Or
Mhm.
I like to use the word enthusiastic. We were so enthusiastic about it, and because we so wanted it, like we were in need. We had been lamenting about this for a year and a half that somebody needed to open a great gym. So,
Wow. But Lavinia, when you talked about Equinox, you were saying that it wasn't just like your standard gym. You wanted to make sure everything about this place was an experience. And I think about that when I think about leaders and leadership all the time. Are we giving our people an experience, our customers, our clients? If we are just thinking of it as everyone's experience. So tell us a little bit about that. I mean, was it the architecture? Was it the lighting? When you thought of the Equinox experience, what is it you were trying to convey?
you know, that's the beauty of Equinox is that because we were three siblings, like each one of us had our own special lane, even though everything we did crossed over for sure, but like for instance, my one brother, his expertise, his love, his passion, and to this day it continues, is the design elements.
Mm,
So I mean, seriously, like nobody had seen a gym or fitness club at that time, is what we called it. Nobody'd seen one that was so like hip. Like it was really like we were so, and the lighting, you said the lighting, like that was a really big thing. Like you walked in the club, and when you first walked in, like the mood was very sexy. Like,
yeah.
especially the first one, it was a little bit more industrial. And we were in our late 20s when we opened that club. So we were hip, we wanted that place to be hip. It almost felt like when you first walked in that you could be walking into a nightclub.
Right.
And then when you got on the other side of the wall, it was the gym. But it felt that because I kind of joke, Rhonda, but our biggest competition in those days was happy hour. So we really had to get people out of the bar and into the gym because it was unheard of. Everybody went straight from work to happy hour. So it was like, we had to make them feel like they were coming into something happy hour-ish. Like, we couldn't make them
Yeah.
feel like they were walking into a sweatshop and gonna go eat, like they had to feel good about it. So everything we did, like, even the people that I put at the front desk, I had to make sure that they were vibrant and healthy and good looking, and you wanted to walk in and be like, I love this place. I love
Right.
this place. And
So I have a question. So Marae, do you have I know you're in Australia, but are there locations there? And Gwen, I wanted to highlight, Gwen said that the Equinox is an experience. The Dumbo location is gorgeous. Um, and do you have fitness centers over where you are that really draw you in, like make you want to be there? I think if I had that, I would have probably worked out much more.
So you have your excuse now.
Yes.
We have. I mean, there's a lot of gym club. There's one that I actually like called Good Life, and so Good Life is I enjoy it. It's especially for people of my age, and you also have they cater for every single. They have young people, they have more of the middle age people, and they also have people over 70 come and and really enjoy themselves. So we have, and like it was mentioned, it's about the experience, it's about what the instructor are are bringing, the type of energy that they're bringing up, and really making sure that people really enjoy and come back and understand that it's about them giving the best of themselves, and feeling good, because at the end of the day, if you really want to sustain the effort, it's about, making sure that you are good, irrespective of, the objective that you have, basically just feeling, this good energy and coming back all the time.
Yeah, no, Lavinia, and you seem to have that. I love that you said it had to be sexy. So when I think of gyms, I don't really think, I think hard work, I think sweat, I wasn't really thinking sexy, but I guess a little bit of that is okay.
It's
Yeah, a lot of people want to feel sexy, and when you see they change their attires, especially the woman, even the men. I mean, they want to show their bodies, especially if they have muscles, and so they also come for that,
Yeah,
and obviously for people like us, you feel a little bit embarrassed because you're not you're not that skinny and you're not really bulky as but you have to keep going and get the right
yeah.
energy.
Well, Lavinia, I'm
but
impressed that you included that in the experience.
yeah, because I have to tell you, like, sexiness, I when I say sexy, I'm not thinking about girls walking around in bra tops and shorts. I'm thinking about the music, the vibe, the
Hmm.
energy. Like, you want to like get in there and like you're grooving the music, like every detail with the music has to be like, years ago, the music had to play through the gyms. Today,
Right.
everybody has it individual music. So, I mean, as you had to walk in, and right from the beginning, the way the gym smelt, the way the gym looked, the way that the sound you got, like every single one of your senses had to be, aroused. And again, there's something when I say sexy, again, I'm not thinking like the muscles and that. I'm like thinking a vibe. Like when you move your body, like that is sexy. Like
Yeah.
that just, it feels good. There's a vibration. Like it's about encouraging that. When you take a class, it isn't about like, I don't know, like when I take classes and they're so boring, you're just like, it leaves you feeling flat. Like, I really try not to ever leave a class. Um, I try hard not to because I don't want to insult the instructor. But on the other hand, there's been times where I'd rather put needles in my eyes than be in certain classes. They're just so boring. Like that for me is not fun. Like I like bringing joy and happiness and music and it's interesting because with Move Joy now, I don't use music that people know because
Mm.
I want to keep you in your body. I don't want you to leave your body. So I want you to. It's a different approach. And the music is just for the background music for us to get a rhythm, to get the beat because we our bodies like to have a beat to move to. It's more that than to get out of the body, moving to a Whitney Houston song and like you're not even in your body because you're just like so excited about the song, right? And
Right.
that's great too. And but that's not what this is about. But yeah, it's all of that. It's like every experience, every detail, when I look back sometimes and I look about all the content that we would do creating, because, this was also 30 years ago, it's 30 some odd years
Mhm.
ago. And there wasn't like today, fitness is everywhere. Like,
Right.
it wasn't like that. I mean, it was even hard enough just to get sneakers. Like, like I'll never forget this. There was not going to say who she was, but pretty big artist, a musician. She joined Equinox and she called and she said, "Could somebody meet me at the door? I've never been in a gym before." And I met her at the door and I said, "Now, you know what you need to come?" And she said, "Yes, I need to have tennis shoes and I need to have this." And I was like, "Yes." So I walk her into the locker room. She takes her shoes out of the bag and I'm like, "What are those?" And she goes, "Those are my sneakers." And I'm like, "Those are water shoes." She goes, she goes, "What?" I go, "Those aren't sneakers. Those are water shoes." And she goes, "Water shoes?" I go, "Yeah, you wear them into the ocean." Like that's when like, so that was where we were then. Like 30 years ago, this woman didn't know the difference between a pair of sneakers and water shoes. Like,
Whoa.
we take so much for granted now, but like 30 years ago, it was like, it was so different. Like, it was just, when I look back, it's like, wow, we've come a long way, and I really believe Equinox is part of that. We trailblazed that. We changed the trajectory of that. When
Mhm.
we first started the industry, 10% of people actually worked out. At least today, it's 30%. We all think it's a lot more than that, but it really is, in our country, only 30%. But 20% to move that needle is a big number,
Mhm.
you know.
It really is. It really is a big number. And so I want to talk a little bit about, so you said that movement's always been a part of your life.
Mhm.
And it's so easy, I think, for us in the day that we're in now to be so busy, right? We're busy, busy, busy. We're go, go, go. We don't have time to work out. We don't have time. And so, and then I think about leaders. So I've got these busy, busy leaders that I'm working with, coaching, training, and they are all saying, yeah, I eat, sleep, maybe get a few drinks in here and there. And then I put my head down and I work and I work and I work and I work. Don't have time to work out. Oh, I wish I had time to work out. What do you say to those leaders about the importance of working out and how it impacts their performance?
Um, First of all, movement is vital. I mean, it is vital. It oxygenates your body. It makes you clearer. It makes you stronger. I mean, for me, the same way you're going to brush your teeth in the morning, you're going to take a shower. That's how you have to look at working out or movement. We There's just no doubt about it. Like, it has to be a, you have to make it a priority. Like, it's not like an option. You have to, even if it's just 30 minutes a day. And
Mhm.
that's why I will be honest, like, I'm very in favor of working out at home.
Right.
I really am, because I've seen with the people, with my pilot people of about 40 people, everyone over the years, we've been piloting this, or at the time we didn't know it was a pilot, but we've been doing this now for 2.5 years, and
Wow.
everyone has made huge changes, in measurable results in their everything from blood pressure to their cholesterol to weight loss to bone density. I mean, all the things that we want to measure, everyone has gotten unbelievable measurable results because they've stayed consistent. Because no matter how you look at it, to go to the gym, especially for those really busy people, to go to the gym, for us as women, we still got to put a little makeup on. We still got to look a little good. Like, you're not going to, like, whereas when you're working out at home, I literally throw on a pair of sweatpants, a t-shirt, and I get my workout in. And 30 minutes later, I'm in, if I only have 30 minutes, I'm in my shower. Like,
Right.
you can't do that if you're that busy and you're going to go to the gym. You've got to, if you're going to go to the gym, you've got to have at least an hour and a half.
Mhm.
And that's not going to be doable, right? If
Right.
you're that person, it is not going to be doable. So my advice is, find stuff at home, find a program, find an app, find, like we do it live. We also have stuff that people can do it later, but because that, if you're really, really, really that busy, that is the way you're going to get it done.
Right.
Or, a lot of the big CEOs here and people like that, they have their trainer come to the house at 5:30 in the morning. Like, to try to find a good trainer in LA at 5:30, you're never gonna, it's hard to find, because that's when every high powered person is working out.
Right.
They're working out at 5:30 in the morning. And but the good part is, you don't need to have the trainer anymore. There's so many things out there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
YouTube.
it's just that, I mean, that's the beauty of what we really saw with COVID, is that you can get really, really good workouts in at home. Someone on your, just put, I invested in a home gym and it's just easier. And that is the truth. It's just easier. It's more consistent, because at the end of the day, People will say to me for years, Lavinia, what's the best workout I can do? What's the best workout I can do? And I say, listen, I could design you an amazing 30-day workout, just kicked it up. But at the end of the day, it's the one that you're going to do. That's the best workout. It's the workout that you're going to get in. So, and I like to break it up. Like when I have really busy days, I literally, I don't even sometimes go to my gym. I have a mat. I know this sounds crazy, but for me, it is a priority. I'm 64 years old and I am going to get
Wow.
a workout in every single day, even in between. Like I have here, I took my chairs out in front of my desk because sometimes in between meetings, I literally go and I do, 50 push-ups, I do sit-ups, I do jumping jacks. I just
Mhm.
move. If I have 10 minutes, I move in between. I do squats, I do lunges. I get back here, I have my meeting. I have another 15 minutes. I literally squat, lunge, like I have a little routine. And at the end of the day, I've gotten an hour in.
You look amazing for 64. I know
Yeah.
you just blew past that really quickly, right? I'm 64. I'm like, wait.
Yeah.
And
How?
I have to tell you, for me, when I say that, I don't say that for my outside, how I look outside, even though I'm very pleased with how I look outside, but it's how I feel inside. Like I have the energy. I mean, last night I got home. I had an event to go to, and I'd been out of my house since 9 o'clock in the morning. I got home at 10 o'clock. My son and his fiance were here, and they were both like, oh, we're gonna go home. We're so tired. And she said to me, you must be wiped out. And I said, no, I'm really not. I mean, I'm not. I feel good. I mean, I just have, you know, it's not just, I mean, of course, my food, it's everything. It's my sleep. I always say it's your thoughts, your words, your feelings, your attitude, and your actions that create your life.
Mm, that
Mm.
so that is all of
Yeah.
those things are true. And when you first of all, we've been talking about Move Joy, but you've got to tell us what it is so that people in the audience can really understand it. How do you describe Move Joy? What is it?
First of all, I always say that you have to experience it to really understand. It's hard to put in words. However, that's what we're doing with my team to like get that down. I say it's a body, mind, and spirit activation. We activate your body, we activate your mind because we have to have a strong mindset. Like nobody's going to be strong, have a strong body and not have a strong mindset. Not going to happen. And I believe then when you add the spirit into that, I'm not even, yes, I'm a Christian and I believe in God. So, but spirit, I'm talking about your spirit, the spirit, your spirit that runs through you. Like I always, there's a great song by Ricky Byers that I always loved. It was I release and I let go, and I let the spirit run my life. And I always say, I release and I let go. I let my spirit. And now my spirit is connected to spirit, to source, to universe, to God, if you want it. But it's like when you are moving like that, and you
Right.
are moving, and I use the word devotion a lot because I want to be devotional to me, to my body, to my spirit, to my heart. When you move or you do things in life, I don't care if you're doing your work, your artistry, your sculpting, but you do it very devotional. There's a feeling and an energy and a, a vibrancy and a commitment that isn't like, it isn't that I have to. It's like, I get to do this. I'm devoted. When you do anything with that energy and that frequency, everything becomes healthier, right? When I watch women working out, especially in the gym, first of all, research shows us that 90% of all women over the age of 30 hate their bodies.
Mm,
And when you're working out, to change. When you're working out because I got to fix this, you're not working out with devotion and joy and love and that
Right.
frequency. You're working out with fear and hate and shame. You don't want to be moving your body with fear and hate and shame. You want to be moving your body with love, with acceptance, with joy, with bliss. Like you want to move because we're made up of energy. You want to have so much discernment about when you're moving your body that you're actually moving it to in a way that's actually creating a healing. Movement is life is movement. Movement is health is movement. But we have to move it, and we have to connect it in a way where it's really creating that healing, that uplifting, that healing. It's it
So, Lavinia, can you just go a little bit deeper into that? Because I think you just said something that's really powerful.
Mhm.
Um, Most of us are trying to work out because we don't like where we are, we don't like what we have, we don't like what we see,
Right.
and you're saying that the way that that affects, our ability to really fully invest and engage in this movement. I never really thought about it that way. Working out as a self investment, as a way of you really getting in tune with yourself, as opposed to working out because, oh, look at me, I got these problems and this problem. I never thought about that before. So, talk about that a little bit more for me.
Yeah, first of all, I know you know that saying, wherever you put your attention, that's where the energy goes, right?
Right.
So if we're going to just constantly look at ourselves and be judgy and critique everything, like there's an energy and a vibration in that, right? So if you're just going to be like, I hate my thighs, look at my thighs, and every time you're working out, you're just lamenting about your thighs, and instead of like touching your thighs and touching your legs and going, thank you, legs, thank you, thank you. And you're touching them and you're really saying, thank you. You take me everywhere I want to go. Legs, you never let me down. Like to celebrate the good of these beautiful legs that you have. Now, they may not be perfect. They might have some cellulite. They might not be as thin and fit as you want. But man, there's people out there that don't have legs.
Right.
Like we have to really take that in. Like we've got to you know we start Move Joy with gratitude. Like we take three deep breaths in. You say, I am grateful for. And
Mhm.
then I say, because you're doing this at home, I say it out loud.
Right.
Really preach it. Preach it. I am grateful for it. I am grateful for it with you. And when you start with that, and you really get clear, like the three things that you were just so grateful for, it sets the tone on how you're going to move your body, right? And the
Mhm.
first, for us, for me with Move Joy, the first 15 minutes we're releasing the energy. It's because our body holds every emotion from before we were even born. The body doesn't lie. If anybody ever does any kind of deep psychological work, EMDR, or any of those things, you can literally, with the right doctor, they take you back to literally of when you were born, and where the brain can't remember, but the body can remember.
Right.
It can remember if it had a harsh birth. It can remember. I mean, like, it's crazy what the body, we hold on to that sits in this body. So with Move Joy, we're first being very intentional that we're moving the energy off. It's as, what I tell everybody, it's as if somebody's putting acupuncture needles all in
Mhm.
your body, and we're releasing, we're opening the meridians, we're getting the body, we're getting releasing, we release. So the first, and we are moving, and we're doing breath work while we're moving. By the end of those 15 minutes, you're sweating. It's not like it's not you're not sitting and meditating, even though that's great too. But first we release. That section is released. Then the second section is I reclaim. And we are reclaiming our life with our birthright to be healthy, to be strong, to be confident, to be connected. So when we're moving with a level of confidence. We're not moving with focusing on what we don't like. We are connecting to what we love. Like when you're moving with love and with joy and with connection and inner strength and confidence, when we finish that 15 minutes, you're like, I am woman. I am ready. I am alive. You are just so, whew, man, that is like, that's where the magic for me is.
Wow.
Mhm. Wow. So much, so powerful.
Yeah, Marae, just react to some of what she just shared.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just love the energy, but I just want to talk about my own experience, and I think I mentioned it before, in on the show. Is when I feel really down or stressed, I go for a run, and it actually put me back into the positive, positive, and give back positive energy. I'm more energized and also more open to to discuss, to really go with the flow. And I really support the fact that when you start moving, especially when though nowadays we're just sitting in front of our computer, it is a good thing to do and to bring you back. And as a leader, if you're really challenged, it actually helps you to get some fresh air, new energy, renew yourself, to be able to come back and really be more open to any conversation or any challenge that you have. But obviously the spirit is also part of it, which is something that I've not really been able to connect yet. I know how powerful it is, but the consistency is really not there. So I still need to kind of work on it and get this consistency, but it's really powerful.
Yeah, Lavinia, I love what you're doing, and Marae, you do so much of this in your normal life. I
Yeah.
am really trying to elevate my first awareness, second consistency, and commitment to movement, and because it's so easy to sit down and be busy and do that whole thing. And so, Lavinia, I think I feel like Move Joy could be one of those transformative communities for people who are really busy to say, let me just get. So just to be clear for everyone, Move Joy is virtual, right?
Hmm.
Yes, we do it live right now. There is when we do it live, and there is people can also everything they once they become a member, they will get all of the other ones as well, so that they can do it on their own time. But we really try to encourage people to, if they can, to come on live, because we also build community. And it's right now it's women. I say I created this for women 45 plus.
Okay.
um, but I have to admit, I do have quite a few women on there that are in their 30s. So, and we don't we don't discriminate; they're all welcome. But I created for for women 45 plus, because our joints, our ligaments, our tendons, our bodies are different. Like we're
Right.
going through different things. There's perimenopause and there's menopause and there's postmenopause, and the first thing is that's really important is I want to keep it safe, because we are doing strength training in the middle when we're reclaiming our life. Like those 15 minutes, we are doing strength training, resistance training, because we need that. We can't, like, running is great, dancing is great, all that stuff is great, but we need to do weights. We need to do strength
Mm.
training and resistance training for sure. If it's the bands or if it's the weight, we have to do that. We need it for our bones, we need it for our muscles, we need it for our hormones. It changes our hormones, like, and that can be really intimidating to women, especially when you go to these gyms and there's all this equipment. I mean, first they will, they give you an assessment and show you, but I mean, like, it takes time for you to really understand, and also the safety of it. So, yeah.
Okay, so you do weights. I wasn't sure
Oh,
if you
yes.
do weights. Is it like 5 pound weights?
There's a whole section that we do where we start with 5 pounds, or actually, some people will start with 2 or 3 pounds. So then you work your way up. There are certain weights that we do use. I mean, I might be using 15 pounds. Some of the other, the gals might be using 12 or 10. Yeah, so we get up there. It's important to have that. And the one I worked with, an amazing woman who's a physical therapist. She's the head of a physical therapy school here. So she has literally what done approved every single exercise that I do, just
Mm,
because her specialty is seniors. So, you know, we make it functional, we make it fun, we make it effective, um, and we make it safe, because as we get older, you know, I mean, I have a very dear friend who's an orthopedic surgeon, and he said, Lavinia, I get more business from yoga and Pilates than you can imagine.
oh my goodness.
You know, he said, you know, all of those people on the reformers now, they're doing them so fast. People are having wrist injuries, they're having shoulder injuries, and everybody thinks yoga, Pilates so safe, and it is safe when, number one, when it's not only done correctly, but when you go, you know, people do this these yoga classes now, and I look back and I think, you know, for years should have done hatha yoga for 3 years before you get into these advanced
Right.
Ashtanga classes. People are taking 1 or 2 yoga classes and they're going into these advanced classes. It's like, it's not designed that way. But, you know, I would say like 15, 20 years ago, all of a sudden yoga got so hot, and now they had to make it like yoga aerobics, you know. But our bodies, you know, it takes time to get to those places. So
Absolutely.
people are getting injured all the time, and they're on these cycles of, yeah. And you know, you do have to work out every day, but you don't have to kill yourself every day.
Right.
You know, like nobody's saying that you have to kill yourself every day. You know, there's a couple of days a week in there you have to maybe hit it a little hard, and the other days you just have to move. You have to just move. You have to move your body. You know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Marae?
Yeah, and I was just laughing when she said you don't have to kill yourself, and that's what happened when you only want to exercise to lose weight or to to reach a certain point in your life, and not really looking at it like something that just feeling good by itself. So that's why I was laughing and said, oh yeah, that we're trying to kill ourselves all the time now, trying to lose weight.
well, Marae, I love that you keep saying feeling good, because you say that a lot during this conversation. I love that because the slogan for Move Joy is feel good, really, really good. And the reason I chose that slogan is because when the women are finished and we all come on at the end to talk, they always say the same thing. I was like, they would lean in, they'd put on talk, and they'd say, oh my God, Lavinia, I feel so good. I feel
Good,
really,
yeah.
really good. And when it was time to really pick a tagline, I was like, I feel like they've created the tagline for me, because that's all they say is,
Right.
I feel so good. And that's what it's about. You know, it's like, and when you're feeling good, you're going to look good. You know, it's like, I mean, unless you're feeling good because you're drinking, and that's a whole other thing. But you know, you just have to, when you're moving, like that's where you want to get with it. You want to get like by the end that your heart feels open, your circulatory system worked, your blood was pumping, your heart was pumping, your lungs were expanding, your thoracic was moving. Like when we start doing, like I just say it and I'm like, I feel good already. Like it's so funny. It's like, but that's where we want to go. Like that's, our bodies are designed to move. Like we do these delicious shoulder movements to get the shoulders moving. And I have women that are on there that have had cancer and they've had lymph nodes removed, and they said they haven't felt that movement in that area in so long, and now
Right.
they feel so much better. It's like, it really is magic when you move your body in the right way and you breathe energy into it and you're affirming great things and you're connecting to your spirit and your soul and you're moving with that. It's like it is I don't know, for me it's the best feeling I've ever felt in my life. So
I love your energy. Okay, people, this is why I needed
Exactly.
Lavinia to come on to the show because
Mm-hmm.
her energy is infectious, and as
Mm-hmm.
you're just talking about it, we can sort of feel the energy just vibrating off of you. And one of the things, as I was listening to you speak to someone else, you said something about as leaders when we show up. So imagine we show up, we're not moving our bodies and we're dull and humdrum, and we show up and we're like, all right, people, it's going to be a great day. We want the best. We want the best from you. And everybody's looking at you like, is it coffee
Yeah,
time yet?
definitely.
Really? Right. But you said something in the show, Lavinia, and you said you cannot give people, I think you said you can't give people what you don't have or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So as leaders, there is a role for this energy and this movement to play and how we show up. Do you agree?
yeah, I mean that is my saying. I always say you can't give what you don't own. So if
Mm-hmm.
you're not owning that vibration and that aliveness and that, and you don't own that, you're going into a room as an imposter. Like you're going in like I always call it, like I hate to say it, but it's like I'm a motivational speaker. No, like I don't think of myself when they'll say you're a no, I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm literally I am so internally turned on that I just share that energy with you. I'm not I just share what comes through me,
Mm,
that runs through me. Like, and
yeah.
it's my job to keep my vibration and my frequency up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't look at it as a job. I look at it as like when I'm when I don't not do that because I I like the feeling. I'm like I always say, like, women our ages are, everybody's talking about facelifts. Everybody's talking about facelifts, weightless. Well, you know what? I'm talking about life lifts. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
talking about facelifts. I'm going to lift my life. I'm going to lift my life. I'm going to lift my vibration. I'm going to lift my energy. I'm going to lift my body, my soul, my spirit. Like it's a life lift. And when you're lifting your life, everything you do is better. There isn't a
Mm-hmm.
relationship in your life that isn't better. I call it that we're in a five. And in life, we want to be in this, I call it the perfect five. And that would be one, you're passed out sleeping, and 10, you're bouncing off the walls. And a five is you're calm and relaxed, you're focused and alert. Calm
Mm,
and relaxed, focused and alert. And that's really where you want to be. You want to be calm and relaxed, the tension out of the body. You know, you don't want to be like your mind is like the monkey mind. You want to become focused and alert so you can be a good listener, and also as a leader, we have to be able to listen to what's not being said.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be able to listen to the tones and the vibes. Like at Equinox, a big part of my creating things, or really not just Equinox, everywhere in my life, is to be able to see things before it's actually showing.
mm,
Mm-hmm.
Like I could tell if something was going to work or not work pretty quickly. And
yeah.
then people would say, oh, wait, yeah, you just have to have patience. You have to have patience. But I instinctively knew that patience or no patience, I'm not saying you go from 0 to 100 in a week, but
Mm-hmm.
like there were certain things that needed to happen. And if it wasn't happening, then I could go in there and figure it out before you get to where you realize that this isn't working at all. But
Right.
like,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to be in tune. Like you have to be in tune. Like you have to have an agency, right? You
Hmm.
have to have that in order to kind of see that. And there has to be an emotional intelligence. There has to be a being able to see the energy before it's either, yeah, like, and you have to be in touch. You've got to be clear. Your vessel has to be clear. You know, I went to acting school when I was young, and probably the best thing I got ever, well, there's a lot I got out of acting school, but was that before I went to Lee Strasberg, and we would sit in these chairs, and you would be like, letting go of the energy. And you'd be like, and I mean, we would do this for like 45 minutes, but because they were, the you had to let go of all your stuff to be able to now be vulnerable and be on the stage and to feel the words, to feel the actor, to be able to connect. And
Yeah.
it's really important. And the thing that was interesting at Lee Strasberg, like they had a whole program there for attorneys to be able to, because yeah, so it was just like you
Mm.
realize how much we have to do to let go of our energy, of our stories, of our our constraints from the past. Like, you know, those kind of things really run us, you know, like I even realized at one point I when we sold Equinox, if somebody would have told me I would have went into like the darkest stage of my life, I would have been like, no way. And I want you to know, like I was the one pushing for that sale. I was ready. I was ready to. It was just we had a, you know, I don't know, from inception till, you know, from the first club, whatever. It was probably about 13 years, and I mean 13 years going hard, hard, you know. And I had a child in there, and it was like, oh, but so I thought when we sold, and there would be like, you know, plenty of money, that every day was going to feel amazing. Every day I'm going to feel vibrant and alive, and this water is going to taste different because I never have to worry about money again. And you know, I just thought every day was going to feel like the 4th of July with fireworks and watermelon and sparklers, and every day was going to be amazing. And then the polar opposite happened. I literally, what I learned, what I went into a identity paralysis. And I literally, and it wasn't just because of Equinox as my identity, it was my whole life. My identity was my successes. Being a good student, being a great dancer, getting into the professional group, getting to be a Rockette, getting into USC. Like my whole identity was always based on all of the accolades I had. And when I started doing that deep internal work, because literally I was like, I could barely get out of bed after we sold. And even when I was out of bed, I was not out of bed. I was like glazed over. And everybody kept saying, oh, it hasn't registered yet. It hasn't registered yet. And the only person I felt really safe to talk to about it was my mom, because everybody else was like, oh, just go on a shopping spree. You'll be fine. Like it was just like, and you felt, how could you be complaining that you sold and you had all this money? Like it was like you, but it was like, and I would say to my mom, like, Mom, I just feel so out of my own skin. Like I'm just so lost. I'm so lost. I didn't feel like I sold my company. I feel like somebody ripped something out of me. And then I realized, you know, when I went back and did, you know, different kinds of personal development work, I realized that that started very young. Like you know, I was always looked at as very competitive. And I guess it was like, oh, that's just her nature. That's her nature, you know, to be competitive. And what I realized through my therapy and through personal development and different is that no, actually, I was actually very insecure as a kid. So I compensated my insecurity by being more competitive.
Wow.
And
Oh my
I lived my
goodness.
whole life being so competitive. I mean, I used to compete at hopscotch. I mean, I would compete at hopscotch. Like, I mean, it was just like I could turn making pancakes into a competition. I made the most beautiful pancake. Like I was just so competitive, you know, and I later learned that was because I was so so insecure. My
Right.
insecurity compensated to make me so competitive. And I guess for many years it was a winning formula, as they call it. I was a, but now all of a sudden I had nothing to compete with. You
Right.
And it
Oh
was
my goodness.
interesting because about 6 months before we sold, I had a dream that I went into a competition for gardening and for the most beautiful tomato. I mean, even that, I was like, oh my god, like everything was a competition. So I
Oh my
really did go
goodness.
into, and that was one of the things that I speak about a lot today with entrepreneurs is like, you know, do some and I was doing internal work before we sold Equinox. So that was why it was a little bit more even glaring when we sold and I went into that crazy funk. So I really encourage people to get in touch with, get
Mm-hmm.
do the, we call it the true self, we call it the false identity and the true identity, to really do some work on that true identity, so that even in the process of growing and learning and scaling, that you're constantly getting in touch with who you are.
So
Mm.
my mom said mom was an avid workout, and she said she's been putting it off, and she often puts it off, and she's motivated again. Just what she needed. Thanks, Lavinia. You're delightful. This has been. I can't believe our time is up already, and
Wow.
I want to
Yeah.
be really respectful of Lavinia's time. Lavinia, how do we learn more about Move Joy?
Well, first of all, you can go on to movejoy.life and sign up. I believe we're offering all of your community a free week.
Yes.
So
Mm.
I would love for them. I don't know. Do you have the code? Do we have the
I
code?
I don't. And Gwen said this was great. Gwen, make sure you check in because I'm going to get the code. I need to get the code from Lavinia's team, and then everybody in my community. I will share it across my community so that we can give people a free week, Lavinia.
Yeah, that would be great.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. And you're also very social. If you all are not following Lavinia on Instagram, you can follow her there. She's got the same beautiful energy. She's doing some of her movements. I saw one of her Instagrams on Move Joy's channel on Instagram, and it was just amazing and fantastic. You guys will love it. I encourage everybody to go out there. I'm going to join Move Joy. I know that I think it's going to be something that's really important for me to get the movement and the consistency that I'm looking for. So thanks so much for being here, Lavinia. Any final words that you want to share with everyone out there watching?
No, just to love yourself and to connect to your spirit and your soul, and really think about bringing magic wherever you go by bringing you, the unique you, all of you.
Mm.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of LEADJITSU Rise in a Dojo. For my co-host and guest, stay tuned for just a moment. For everyone else, I will see you all next week. Same time, same station for another episode. Until then, take good care.